and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Laura and this is the Last Minute Laura YouTube channel. I'm usually doing some crochet, natural dye, and pretty much anything handy and crafty. So if that's your thing, definitely subscribe down below, one of these down there somewhere, wherever it is. Subscribe and definitely hit the like button, thumbs up the video. It's super helpful for the video and it's really helping the channel grow. You'll see in the next video that there is some very exciting news that is coming with our next update. So we're about to hit 30,000 subscribers and there is going to be a bit of an announcement that comes with that 30,000 subscriber mark. You all right there, Thunder? I'm trying to do an intro here. You're choking on something. All right, so what I'm going to be making today with you guys is this cardigan. I'm calling it the Fancy Nancy cardigan. After the lovely, lovely soul who sent me the yarn for it, Nancy. So thank you so much, Nancy. The Fancy Nancy cardigan features some very cute puffy sleeves and a bit of a baggy, sort of cozy vibe for the rest of the cardigan. And there's the cat. It's all with lamb's pride wool and it's really warm, I must say. The sun is setting right now and it's coming in on me and I'm pretty warm in it. But let's jump right into it. First, I'm just gonna let you know what you need for this project and then we'll jump into making it, putting it together. So you're gonna need a crochet hook, of course. I wanted to be using a 5.5mm throughout the whole project, but I kind of screwed up a few times and used a 6mm for certain parts. So I would say anything between a 5mm and a 6mm is going to be just fine. For most of my stuff, I used a 5.5mm. So if I say any other sizes in there, kind of ignore them. I used a 5.5mm for almost all of the crochet work. Hello, CJ. You'll also need some scissors and a yarn needle for sewing it together in the end, and the scissors for clipping your yarn. And you're also going to need yarn, obviously. How much? I'm gonna say about 1,800 yards. I think that's right. About 1,800 yards. If I am totally off, there'll be a different number in the description down below, but I'm pretty sure that makes sense. So yarn, crochet hook, sewing needle, scissors, a measuring tape if you want to measure your pieces so that they fit you properly. I think that's everything though. Also, all of the stitches that I use in this tutorial will be listed down below, and links to the tutorials for those stitches will also be down below so that if you don't know something that I'm working on, there's going to be a way for you to figure it out. So grab your supplies, make a tea if you're not going to be working with me, make a tea or a snack because this is a long one, and let's do it. Okay, so to get started on the sleeve, we're going to be working first with this sort of warm purple. We've got two purples going, a warm purple and a cool tone purple. Before I get started, I'm just going to sort of explain this sleeve. We've got our regular cuff size that I've been doing in pretty much all of my crochet tutorials for sweaters. But what we're going to do that's a little different in this one is we're going to increase to a pretty significant place and then keep it straight for a lot longer. And that's actually going to give us this really nice puffy sleeve. So I've already made one. And you can see it's got some nice puffiness to it. The full sleeve is actually big, but we fold it over and sew it in the end. So that's what the actual sleeve will look like. So with my 5mm hook, I'm going to take that warm purple and I'm going to start, like I said, the same way I do with every one of my sweaters. So that is a slip stitch and then chain 33. 33. Okay, made it to 33. And now what we're going to do is double crochet all the way across. So we're going to double crochet in the fourth chain, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then double crochet all the way across until you get back to the beginning. And when you're back at the beginning, chain 2 and turn. And then I'm going to talk you through the next step. If you don't know how to do a double crochet, don't worry. I'm going to link a crochet tutorial for all of the stitches I use in this cardigan pattern. So I'll link the double crochet pattern down there. And if you are new, you can pause the video here, go learn how to do a double crochet, and then come back to get this sleeve done. Okay, so next we're going to get started on a rib stitch. So this is actually, in crochet, it's really easy. We're going to start off with what's called a front post double crochet. So it's basically a double crochet, but we're putting the hook in a different spot. So yarn over like you would for a regular double crochet, and then we're going to insert the hook behind that post. If you see, your double crochets are each like a post. 1, 2, 3, see? So you'll wrap your yarn around the hook, insert it behind the entire post, yarn over, pull through, and then finish a regular double crochet. And you see that pulls that post forward, which will act as the front part of the rib. Then we're going to yarn over again, and this time we're going to do the opposite. So instead of going behind the post like this, we're going to go behind the entire work and come up in front of that post. Then yarn over, pull through, and then just complete a double crochet again. And that's called a back post double crochet. And you can see it pulls the stitches so that it's beginning to have that rib stitch. So then we'll do another front post. 1, 2, 3. And you can see that rib stitch is already starting to show up. We're going to do front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front post double crochet, back post double crochet, that repeat all the way across. And you'll see it'll give you this really cool, easy rib stitch. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just front post, back post, back post, double crochet all the way across. Again, if you don't know how to do a front post double crochet, back post double crochet, it's okay. If my tutorial thing that I just did right there, that little tip, didn't help you, I've got a full video where I break down front post and back post double crochet, and I will link that below as well. So all of the resources you're going to need to make this cardigan are going to be down in the description box. So just scroll down, click what you need to click, and then come back to this one when you're ready. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to complete this front post, back post rib all the way across. At the end of this row, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. And then we're actually going to keep going in a really similar way. We're just going to go reverse every other row. So for row number, this is row number 2. So for row number 3, we're going to be doing back post double crochet first, and then front post, back post, front post all the way across. And then row number 4 will be front post again, back post, front post, back post. And we are going to do a total of 7 rows. We might be doing 6 rows. Don't quote me. I'll let you know as soon as I count them out. Maybe it's 7. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter. It can be 5 rows, it can be 7 rows, it can be 9 rows. I think you just have to keep it, when you want to stop doing the rib, you want to be ending on the side that the tail is on. That's it. So if you want a really narrow rib, you could just go one way and then come back, and you're going to end up with a really narrow rib for your cuff. Geez, words are hard sometimes. You're going to end up with a really narrow rib for your cuff. But if you want to make a really long cuff and maybe have it fold over onto itself, like as if your sleeves are sort of rolled up, then keep going. Do lots and lots of rows for your rib stitch. It really doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. For this project to look the way that mine looks, let's see what I wrote here. We are going to do it all the way to row number 7. So we're going to do front post double crochet, back post double crochet, all the way across from rows number 2 until 7. And there's the last one, front post. Oops, almost. There's the last one in that row. And then at the end of the rows, something that you might forget if you haven't done it before, you're going to end up with this little loop. After you've done your last front post, just do a regular double crochet into that last loop. It's just going to act as sort of like your side seam. And then when you chain 2, that's now the side seam. And then you're going to do that back post double crochet. And you'll see that chain 2 kind of acts as the same loop for the next row. So I'm just going to zoom through this part where I'm making this cuff up to row number 7. You go as long as you want, you do you, but I'm doing up to row number 7 for my cardigan. And from there, I will show you what we're going to be doing next. So pause the video, finish your cuff, and then come on back here to keep moving forward on this sort of puffy but really, really cute and cozy stripy sleeve. All right, I'm just coming up to the end of row number 7, and I'm gonna be switching into a different color now. You don't have to if you're using I don't know, if you're not doing something stripy like me and you're just doing the sleeve, then keep going with the next step. But I'm going to be switching into a nice warm orangey brown. And I think it goes really nice with this purpley color. And we're going to break that off. I didn't bring my scissors over here. Okay, and then wrap both there to transition our yarn color in. Perfecto. And then I'm going to just chain 1 and turn it around. So for this first row, we're going to be doing just half double crochet across, nothing special. So half double crochet across, I'm going to be putting them in these big gappy spaces that are left by those front post, back post double crochets, but still it's just a regular half double. And I'm going to be crocheting over the tail so that I don't have to weave in my ends later. As you may have seen, I made a sweater recently that's so stripy, it nearly killed me weaving in all the ends. So now I'm going to skip that step by crocheting over my ends for this sweater pattern. But just regular half double crochet across with that new color. And at the end of the row, chain 1 and turn around. So I just noticed now that I made a mistake. So I have to frog all of this. Okay, so I'm back to this point. Let's see where we were. Okay, so now we are on row number 9. For row number 9, we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, and then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the next stitch, and 1 half double crochet in the next. And we're just going to repeat that, 2 half double crochets in one stitch, 1 half double crochet in the next, 2 in the next, 1 in the next, all the way across. And then we are going to chain 1 and turn. And for the next row, row number 10, we are going to just half double crochet across. And then we are going to be doing a little bit of increases, just on either side of the sleeve. And we're going to be doing that all the way up until row number 19. So first we will do this row, with 2 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet all the way across, chain 1 and turn. Next row is half double crochet all the way across. And then for the following row, row number 11, we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 2 half double crochets in the last stitch, otherwise half double crochet across. So we're just doing this one row at the beginning where there's a lot of increases, like an increase on every other stitch. And that's going to create our nice puffy sleeve without having too much puff. We don't want too much. We just want a nice little bit of expansion here. Okay, so now we are on row number 10. For row number 10, like I said, we're going to half double crochet across, nothing special about this row. At the end of the row, chain 1 and turn. All right, so now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now it's time for row number 11. For row number 11, I'm going to do 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 2 half double crochets in the last stitch. Otherwise, we're just going to half double crochet all the way across. And for the next row, row number 12, it's just going to be a row of half double crochet across. And then from here all the way up until row number 19, we are going to be doing increases on every other row. So for row number 11, we're doing increases on either end. Row number 12, it'll be a normal half double crochet row. Row number 13, 2 in the first stitch, 2 in the last stitch, otherwise half double crochet. Row 14, half double crochet across. 15 has an increase, 16, no increase, 17, increase, 18, no increase, and 19 is going to be our last increase. So I'm just going to zoom through this. It's going to be 6 rows for me in the brown, and then I'm going to switch to the dark green after I finish my 6 rows in the brown. So I'm going to zoom through, like I said, and after I am done my increases, I will come back here and show you what we're working with, and then it will be time to make a little bit of a change for the rest of the sleeve. So increase on the end of every other row, just the first stitch and the last stitch, and other than that, half double crochet across. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the end of row number 19, and I'm going to finish this row off with 2 half double crochets in that last stitch because it's our last increase on this entire sleeve. So now from row number 20 all the way up to row number 27, I'm going to keep going half double crochet only in that green. And when I get to row number 27, we're going to be still working straight up. I'm going to switch out into that cool toned purple, and I'm going to do 6 more rows of half double crochet straight across, no increases. We're done with the increases. So if you're using different colors than me, you change colors whenever you want. But for me, I am going to make it all the way to row 27 with the green, and then I am going to do another 6 rows with the purple. In total, we're going to be going all the way up to row number 51 with just half double crochets across. So you do whatever you want with the colors, but we're making it all the way to row 51 with our half double crochet. There will be a picture of my bullet journal on my website, lastminutelaura.ca, or on talk.lastminutelaura.ca, the blog. And if you want to know exactly how many rows per stripe and all that sort of information, there will be more information available there. All of that will be linked below as well, so there you go. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the last few stitches on my last row of the yellow, and that is going to be it for the sleeve. So I'm just going to do 1 chain and then I'll secure off. And now it's time to work on the front panels. You've got to make 2 of these sleeves, by the way. So now let's do the front panels. Stitch. I'm going to break off my yarn. You can cut it if you remember to bring your scissors to wherever you're crocheting. And I'm going to switch it now into this sort of a warm brown color. So I'm almost finished that last double crochet. I'm going to yarn over with both the old yarn and the new yarn. And then when I do my chain 1, I'm just going to do it with the new yarn. And that's going to be how I'm keeping it from having tails to weave in at the end of this. Okay, so now for the first row of half double crochets, we're starting with half double crochets, I should let you know. We're gonna half double crochet all the way across. I'm going in these big gappy stitches between the 2 double crochet posts. So I'm just doing 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, and at the end of this row, chain 1 and turn. Okay, so from there, the next 5 rows are going to be half double crochets in that same brown yarn. So there's going to be a total of 6 rows of half double crochet. We're not doing any increases on either side, just half double crochet up. And then I'm going to switch it into the green, the dark forest green. And in the green, we're going to do 15 rows of half double crochet. So now we're at 21 rows of half double crochet, and then I'm going to switch into the purple, and we're going to do from 21 to 27 in the purple. So the next 6 rows are going to be in the purple. So there's a total of 27 rows of just straight half double crochet. We go through the light brown, the forest sort of olive green, the bright purple, and then we're switching into the yellow for row number 28. So I'm just going to zoom through this whole half double crochet rectangle because that's all it is. Half double crochet back and forth, chain 1 at the end of each row, and half double crochet across all the way up to row number 27. So I'm just going to do that quickly, and I will meet you back here when it's time to start doing something different. And if you haven't already, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Down in one of the corners, just hit that like button. It's really helpful for the channel. It's helping us grow so much, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you who hits that button. So definitely hit the like button to support the channel for free. It's a quick and easy way to do it. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the end of row number 27. I zoomed through all of those half double crochet rows. I switched colors a couple of times, and now it is time for the decrease, which is going to be giving us that deep V-neck that a cardigan kind of has, you know? So that's the plan next. I'm gonna do this last half double crochet on row number 27. And then for row number 28, I'm not gonna chain 1 and turn. I'm just gonna turn the garment without any chain 1. I'm gonna skip that first stitch, and then I'm gonna half double crochet into the second stitch. And this is actually like the easiest way to do a decrease, honestly. Because you don't really have to do any thinking. You just skip the first stitch and no chain 1 and turn. So you can see it just eliminates that 1. So we're going to get that nice angle from this decrease. So for row number 28, after we do that decrease, we're going to half double crochet across, but we're going to leave the last 12 stitches unworked. So we're going to work all the way across, but we're going to stop our half double crochets when we have 12 stitches left at the end. So let me just show you what I mean. So from this end, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll just put a stitch marker in there. And then we're going to half double crochet up to the stitch marker. And this is going to be where we begin to shape the underarm shoulder zone of the cardigan. When you get to that last stitch before the stitch marker, chain 1 and turn, and then we'll be on row number 29. Hey, CJ. No, you can't sit with me. Sorry, buddy. You have that cat bed. I'm working. All right, so here's my last stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, so for row number 29, we're going to half double crochet all the way to the end, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing we did the last time we were at that end. We're going to not chain 1, but we are going to turn the work, and then we're going to half double crochet into the second stitch. We're going to skip that first stitch. So half double crochet all the way to the end, then there's no chain 1, turn the work, and then half double crochet into the second stitch on that new row. All right, so now I'm not going to chain 1, turning it around. I'm going to skip the first stitch and half double crochet into the next stitch. And now, this is row number 30. It's going to be a repeat of those last two stitches, the last 2 rows, excuse me. So row number 29 and 30, you can just repeat that over and over again until we get up to, oh, we're just going to keep decreasing until we are left with 20 stitches. So if you're making a much larger garment than I am, if yours is going to be bigger at the beginning, then you're going to want to just keep decreasing until you've got 20 stitches left in your row. And the 20 stitches is going to be what we are working at to attach both shoulders. So the back panel will have shoulders of 20 stitches as well, and it will turn it into a wider shouldered garment, not quite a drop shoulder, but kind of in the family of a drop shoulder. It'll be a little bit of a wider topped garment. If you've made sweaters with me before, you know normally I reduce it to 12 stitches or 10 stitches for a sweater, but I also want part of that shoulder seam to represent the collar of the cardigan. So I don't want it to be as thin as a sweater, or else the neckline would be wide out like a sweater before we add the collar. So just reduce in this way, 29 and 30, rows 29 and 30, until you've got 20 stitches left. I'm going to count my rows and I'll let you know how many that is for me once I zoom through this part. So I'm just going to do 31 and 32, I'll explain them again. So I'm at 31 right now, I'm chaining 1 and turning for 31. So that'll be for 33, 35, 37, 39, and so forth. And for number 31, we're going to half double crochet in each stitch all the way across, and at the end of row 31 or any odd number row, you're not going to chain 1 at the end. You're just going to turn the garment around. And then for every even number row, the way you're starting the row is skipping the first stitch and half double crocheting all the way across, and at the end of that row, chain 1 and turn. So we're going to go do that a couple of times now. I'll let you know how many once I finish this section. And for you, it might be a different number of rows if you're kind of manipulating the size of this cardigan. So I'm going to zoom through it, and when I finish my reductions, I will come back here and I'll talk you through the next part. Okay, so I just realized now I made a mistake. I said until we're down to 20 stitches, we're actually going to be going down to 15 stitches. So at this point right now, we're at 22 stitches. We're going to keep that decrease going in the yellow until we're at 15 stitches. Sorry, my mistake. So, all right, and there we go. So there's 15 stitches. Ugh, I'm gonna secure off my yarn. Oh, I didn't do that right. And now I'm gonna count my rows so I can let you know how many rows to do if you're making something about my size. Okay, so now I'm done with that row. There are a total of 30 rows of decreases. So you'll have your rectangle of like the front body piece, and then when we get that armpit shaping and the decreases, that area is 30 rows long. So for my size, which is probably, I think I'm probably making a lady's large, maybe something between a medium and a large. It's kind of baggy, and the back piece is going to be another 70 chain stitches. So this is it for the front piece. So you've got to make 2 of them. I've got both of them right here, and if you remember, we started with, okay, so we started off with 45 for chain stitches for the front panel, which means we've got 42 stitches because of the first stitch being the 2 chains, the first double crochet. So 42 and 42, so we've got 84 for the the 2 front pieces put together, but we're going to want them to overlap, right? We want them to kind of sit on your front, like slightly overlapped, like how a cardigan does, like that. So since we want them to overlap like that, we don't want to make the back piece 84 like across, so like 85, 86, 87. We don't want it to be that big. We want the back to be a little bit smaller than these front panels are when put together. So I'm going to be starting with a chain of 70, my back piece, which is the next part. So let's make the back. Okay, so now I'm going to get started on the back. We're going to be working first in that gold, and I'm going to start with a slip knot, and then I am going to chain 70. After I do the chain 70, I'm going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, and then double crochet across. From there, I'm going to do the exact same rib stitch that you've seen me do for the cuffs of this sweater and for the 2 front panels. So just follow that instruction, 7 rows of the front post, back post, double crochet, repeat, and from there, we're going to switch into our next color, which is the brown, and I will meet you back there after we finish the initial hem band of the back piece of this cardigan. Okay, so I'm just finishing up that 7th row in the front post, back post, double crochet, rib stitch. I'm going to switch colors and bring in the warm brown. If you look at this picture also, I redid my bullet journal spread for this pattern because I wanted to get the instructions correct. So looks a little different now. What do you think? Also, I have a question for you during this video. If you have watched this video all the way to this point, let me know what you think about these bullet journal spreads. Are they something that you'd like to see me do? Are they something you'd like me to talk about? Let me know what you think, and let me know if you use a bullet journal for anything like this. If you make crochet stuff, do you draw out your ideas? Do you write out the instructions, or is it just make and go? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so now it's time to switch in to the half double crochet. We've been doing the double crochet rib stitch up to this point, and now we're going to do half double crochet all the way across, the same way that we did for all of the other pieces for this garment. We're doing it in the big gap between the two double crochets of the last row. And we're just going to go all the way across with our half double crochets in the brown. At the end of the row, chain one and turn. And this is actually a really easy pattern. The back of this has almost no shaping. So whatever size you make the rib stitch, you're just going straight up. There's no increases or decreases for quite some time. You get to do 27 rows like this. So I'm breaking it up into a bunch of colors like I did for all of the other panels, but we're going to be working all the way up till row 27. So we're on row number 8 right now. 27 is where we're going to stop with the half double crochets and make a couple of changes in order to do the arm shaping. But again, I'm just going to zoom through this part because there's no real change going on all the way up until row number 27. So I'll meet you back here when it's row 28 and when it's time to do something a little bit different to shape the body. So row 27 is where we're doing half double crochets, and you can switch colors wherever you want in there. Alright, so I've just finished row number 27. What I'm going to do next, I'm not going to chain one, I'm just going to turn the work. And now we're going to slip stitch into the first 13 stitches. We're going to be doing that it'll be the same as like reattaching your yarn at the 13th stitch. It's going to give us that 12 stitch blank for the arm, the sleeve to fit in, excuse me. Okay, so we're going to slip 1, 2, and 13. And then I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to do the first chain a little bit tight, and then the second chain will be like a half double crochet. So now I'm going to count that as one half double crochet, and I'm going to half double crochet all the way across, but I'm going to leave the last 12 stitches unworked. So I'm going to stop with 12 stitches unworked, and that is going to be the new rectangle that we're working up. I'm going to be doing 14 rows in this golden yellow in our new rectangle shape before I switch in to the light yellow and we get into the shoulder shaping. So like I said, half double crochet across but leave the last 12 stitches unworked, and then we're going to be going back and forth again, half double crochet for 14 more stitches before we switch into the pale yellow. 14 more rows, excuse me. Okay, so 12 stitches left on that side, and now there are 12 stitches on the other side. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn around, and I'm going to keep going back and forth. If you're not changing colors, then you can just keep going back and forth until row number 52. Row number 52 is where we are going to be starting the shoulder shaping. So for me, I'm going to do a color change in there, but if you are doing a different set of colors or just a solid color, then it's going to be all the way up to row 52 we're doing in this half double crochet with 12 stitches on either side of the middle rectangle. So I'm just going to zoom through my rows, and I will meet you back here when we are at row 52 just to get started on that shoulder shaping, and then after that it's going to be time to assemble, which I'm very much looking forward to. I can't wait to wear this cardigan. Alright, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so I've just completed up to row number 52, and now I'm on row number 53. I'm starting with a chain 1 at the beginning of the row, And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to half double crochet into the first 20 stitches. So 1, 2, 19, 20. And then we're going to not chain 1, we're going to stop at 20, we're going to turn. And then we're going to slip stitch into the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 1 and then half double crochet across. And at the end of this row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Row number 55, and for row number 55, we're going to half double crochet into the first 15 stitches. So 1, 2, and then we are going to chain 1 and turn it around, and then just half double crochet across, and you'll have 15 stitches in that last row as well, which is going to match up with the 15 stitches we have for the front shoulder pieces. After that, repeat the exact same thing on the other side to do your other shoulder, and that's going to be it for the body pieces. We're going to be all done with all 5 pieces, all 5 pieces. And it's going to be time for assembly next. So I think I'm going to do the assembly first and then block it out, because I really want to start assembling and I'm so excited to see it as a completed sweater. But I'm going to think on it a little bit, decide whether I want to block the pieces before I sew it together or if I want to sew it together and then block it. We shall see. But yes, first I'm just going to repeat that same thing on the other side, and then it's going to be time to put it together. So I'm going to do that, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, so now we're at my favorite part. It's time to assemble this. I am going to have to get back over to my overhead shot, my table, once we do the shoulders, but I think we can do the shoulders sitting down here. So I've woven in all of the ends, and I've got my back piece. I'm going to just look at my back piece and decide which side is the front and which side is like the inside of the garment. It doesn't really matter, it's just which side has the tails that you wove in visible places. So I think this will be the front side, the side that faces the world. So I'll leave it face, like the inside piece will be touching me, and then I'll take one of the cardigan fronts, there's 2 of them, and I'm going to layer them over at the shoulders to see what works best. So it's going to be single crocheting the shoulders together, but I'm going to look at these pieces and decide which side's the best side. So that's not cute. This side is the ugly one, so that'll go here. That way the nice side will be showing. Remember, this is the nice side, and we want the nice sides showing. So then we want them touching each other. And then this one, oh, it looks fine on both sides. That's lucky. Okay, so then that'll be this shoulder, even by process of elimination. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to single crochet those 2 shoulders together. I'm just going to bring a loop up, pull that down nice and tight, and then I'll lay the tail flat there, and then I'm going to go through the entire stitch on both sides and complete a single crochet, and then through the whole stitch on both sides and complete a single crochet. You could do slip stitches, you could do a blanket stitch. You don't really have to do single crochets to put the shoulders together. If you've made sweaters with me before, you know that. You can definitely do a single crochet. I just like it because it seems, oh, I'm doing half double now, look at that, right as I'm talking. It just seems more secure. Like a slip stitch is fine, but I don't know, I really like how a single crochet has like the entire seam bound together, and it gives you kind of, I don't know, to me like a more finished professional sort of vibe. So I like it, but you do whatever makes you comfortable for sticking these shoulders together. I'm going to stick both of my shoulders together here on the couch, and then we're going to do the sleeves either on the floor or on the overhead shot table. You'll see in a few minutes when I decide. And what I'm going to do on my way to the other shoulder, just a little extra tip, I'm going to I'm just going to single crochet, sorry, around the neckline in order to get to the other shoulder. The back neckline has that weird bit of sort of stair pattern here, this sort of steps, and we want to smooth that out. So I do single crochets in pretty much just every stitch I come across. And when we're switching rows like this, I usually just start with the stitch that is attached to the row above. And that smooths out that curve so that when we're doing any sort of finishing, if we do a rib stitch around the collar or something, we're just like better off. We have a better foundation to work with. So you don't need to do this. You could definitely just cut off your yarn and keep going by reattaching at the other shoulder. That's okay too. And there we go. The sleeves are now, or the shoulders are now attached. I'm going to just weave in that end, and then it's going to be time, oh, it's like a little vest now. Now it's time to add those sleeves in. So I'm going to set up the camera in a better spot and I'll see you in a minute. Tips for you on what you should do for the length of the yarn. I think probably like 4 times the length you need. The length of the measurement of this. 4 times this, I think, is what I'm doing. I hope that's the plan anyway. I didn't measure though. Alright, so there we go. I am going to start with a knot. I know some people don't like that, but I'm going to start with a knot. It makes me feel better about it. I'm going to cover up the tail thread with my blanket stitches. So I'm doing blanket stitches. I have a video on that elsewhere on this channel, but for the purpose of this video, I'm not really going to go through it. I'll just sort of overview how I'm doing it. So, oops. So I put my needle in through both pieces, and then I get the yarn that's right behind the needle, I put it around the needle and pull it through. And that just is the blanket stitch that I do. I know you can do fancier seaming stitches, but this works well. You could also single crochet this part, you could slip stitch this part, or you could just use whip stitches. I just like, this feels more secure to me than a whip stitch. I feel like a whip stitch, if anything happens and a little nick in your yarn happens, it'll just unravel, whereas this, it's kind of like each and every stitch has its own like separate thing going on. Don't quote me or anything, I just feel better about it. Okay, so now it's time to put the rest of it together. I finished the shoulders, the sleeves are now attached, and you'll have this big huge weird shape, but if you fold it over, like find your sleeve and fold the sleeve in half, and then find the shoulder seam and put those together, you'll see it looks like a cardigan now. So you can see it's like a garment with a sleeve. So I'm going to be using my dark green wool for the entirety of doing up the seams for this sweater. So I've still got my hook, same hook that I used for the whole thing, and I'm just going to start at one end and single crochet all the way along that seam. So I'm going to do single crochets just because, again, I like the security of it. But you could do slip stitches, you could do blanket stitches, you could do, I don't know, whatever your favorite way to seam up a sweater is, that's what you can do. I'm just doing single crochet because that's what I like, and that's what I've been doing. Right, and now I'm just going to single crochet all the way from the cuff to the armpit, and I'm going to put 2 stitches in the armpit just because I want that to be extra secure, because you lift your arms and whatnot. So when you get to the middle stitch, the stitch where you switch from being on the arm to being on the body, when I get here, I usually put 2 crochet stitches into the middle stitch just to add a little extra security there. At least that's what I think it does. Okay, so I just finished seaming up the side and I've turned it inside out. And look how good it is! It's so cute! It's like a real cardigan now. It looks like a cardigan. I tried it on and it looks really cute. So now what I'm going to do is some finishing stitches all the way around. So I'm going to start, maybe first I'm going to weave my ends in, just to get that out of the way. And then I'm going to do, I think, a row of single crochet around every raw edge. I think that's what I'm going to do. On the bottom, I'm going to stick to the gold, and I don't know about the wrists yet, so I'm going to start with the bottom because I feel pretty confident about that. And then I'm going to just pick, I think I'll pick the darker gold because there's those two tones, and I'm just going to attach at one corner by looping my yarn in and doing a chain one, and then I'll hide the tail by crocheting over it, and I'm going to crochet one there, into every stitch all the way across and go over the seam so that you secure those two pieces together from another side. Just adds a little extra security and it makes it look just that much more finished. I think I'm going to add a collar to this as well, just because I think it will add a little something extra, but we'll get to that after I finish with the wrists. So I'm just going to zoom through this part, and I will meet you back when my hem line is finished with its single crochet and it's put together. I'm so excited for this cardigan. Okay, so the Fancy Nancy cardigan is pretty much totally finished. I am going to go and do one more thing though. I'm going to attach yarn at the 2 points where the neckline starts to V out, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do from here, I'll do a row of single crochet, and then I'm going to do a row of slip stitches here, and then from here all the way around I'll do another row. That's the whole thing. That's it. It's not too difficult, eh? I mean, it's pretty similar to making a regular sweater. You do 2 sleeves for a regular sweater, and then you do a front piece and a back piece. All that we've really done is divided the front piece in half. We did a little bit of reduction stitches in order to get the V of the cardigan neck, but other than that, it wasn't really anything too crazy or too new. I really hope you did enjoy it. I really enjoyed making it, and I love this sweater. I love all of the colors. I love that we called it the Fancy Nancy cardigan. I think that it is a little Fancy Nancy, isn't it? I might add some buttons after the fact and see if that's something that I'm into, but at this point I think I'm just gonna wear it as it is. So, if you make it, don't forget to tag me anywhere that you post it. Facebook, Instagram, send it to me in an email. I have lastminutelaura.ca@gmail.com ready for you to send anything that you've made with my patterns. I love seeing them. And if you are on Instagram, it's @lastminutelaura.ca. Just tag me in it. This one's gonna be tagged as the Fancy Nancy cardigan. So check it out on Instagram. There will be more pictures of this guy up there. And I think that's it for today. Please, if you did like the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It's a really great way for YouTube, for the algorithm to know to let people see this video. And if you're feeling really sassy, leave a comment. Let me know if there's something you would change about this cardigan. Let me know if you're gonna make it. And, I think that's it. I think that's all I've got for you today. So I really hope you enjoyed it, like I said, and I will see you tomorrow in the live stream. For those of you who are in the live stream, you know. For those of you who don't know about the live stream, I live stream Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. Eastern Time until around 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Come join us. We hang out for a little while, have our tea, and get our day planned together. So, now that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!